welcome to this channel. Today I'll be talking to you about stress and trauma management. We realize that most of us as human beings, we tend to encounter situations whereby we feel that we are traumatized or we are stressed. I want us to discuss this topic so that we can be well equipped with knowledge and information that we can use whenever we feel stressed. And we need to find out what are these possible causes of stress, and we're going to find out more about how to mitigate or some of the mitigation measures that you can employ to go about the stress. And I ask you, what exactly is a stress? So some people would say stress is a feeling of danger, trouble, hardship, some suffering or force that is giving you pressure and straining. So it's therefore a situation where you find yourself confronted by obstacles from the environment and some internal obstacles, and this will prevent you from actualizing yourself. It's debatable to say that a stressed individual is a poor performer. When you are stressed, your performance as an individual or part of a team goes down. So that's the reason you find most CEOs are unwinding through luncheons. They can go to clubs, they work in cocktails. All these are to help them mitigate against stress that is work related. So when all these are exhausted and the boss is still stressed, then they end up bringing that stress to their juniors. So you find that the stress is relieved to their juniors through inconsistent, incomplete, impossible, and inappropriate deadlines. Your boss will tell you that I want to do this, I want this thing now. And you know very well that that is inconsistent and impossible deadline for you to make. So some of those are factors that you need to understand. It's therefore important to know that people do get stress that is work related, and we also have stress that is more social life or work life balance related. So what exactly are the causes of stress? Other people may refer to them as stressors. What are these factors that may cause stress? Human beings are unique in our creations, and therefore we are stressed differently. Some of us are stressed by, for example, what to eat. They don't know exactly what they're going to eat or they're going to wear. Some are just stressed by the fact that which house or car should I buy. And some of us are stressed like, who can I trust? Who can I make my friend? Or maybe who am I going to marry? What investment should I be making? So our stresses are different. And what stresses you may not be a reason for me to get stressed. Therefore, there are a lot of these factors that affect our emotions, negatively or positively. They are all potential stressors. Some common causes of stress include noise. Sometimes I can be stressed because I'm in a noisy environment, or just I'm lonely, or I just feel tired, or I'm overloaded, there's too much work on my plate, and I feel I'm not going to make it. Or sometimes there's a threat. There's a bit differently onto the symptoms or the physical signs and symptoms of stress. So there are different signs that you should look for to determine if somebody is stressed. One, he may be getting late to work. So if you find your colleague is always getting late to work, then you need to find out what could be the cause of that. It could just be that the person is undergoing stress. Absenteeism. Maybe he's not coming to work at all. He's not eating anymore. He's lost his appetite. Or maybe he's just craving for a particular food because he's under pressure, and that's what he uses to go about the pressure or the stress. Sometimes they're nervous. Sometimes we've noted people with frequent indigestion, heartburn, constipation. All these are caused or are signs that there could be some form of stress. So therefore, if you notice somebody has diarrhea, indigestion, heartburn, they want to be checked for stress. High blood pressure or short temper, he's losing his temper, he's losing his cool so fast, then that's a candidate for stress. And we need to find out whether it can be resolved or not. Sometimes they're sweating too much, for no good reason. It's really cold, it's in the middle of winter, and you're sweating. That means there's something that is pressuring you, that is causing you to stress, to start releasing the sweat. There's also constant tiredness, fatigue, and sometimes weakness that may lead to fainting and so on. What about the mental symptoms of stress? Feeling unable to cope, helplessness, losing interest in life. You don't have any interest in life now. You feel like you've reached an end of life. Fear of disease. You fear that you're going to die if you catch this disease and so on. When somebody has been given a mandate to make decisions, but is just not making that decision, there's a possibility that is under duress or something, and that is affecting or contributing to his difficulty in making that decision. There's also loss in interest in people and feeling isolated. Sometimes we get stressed and we feel we want to be on our own, we want to be away from people. Those are signs of stress. We have people when they're really stressed, they get super angry. They contribute, they try to be more violent, inability to show true feelings. So when you don't show what you really feel truly, then you may be suffering from stress. There's also a feeling of being targeted by other people. You feel like everybody is just against you. Everybody is fighting you. Everybody is not on your side. That feeling is a sign of stress. There's also the poor sense of humor. Somebody will not even smile or laugh when there's a job. Then there's something that is stressing them, undergoing stress. So there's also poor concentration. You cannot finish your tasks or assignments before time. So all that are factors that affect or signs of stress. Other issues like gender, you feel you're in the wrong gender concept. Sometimes you feel you're not comfortable with your gender, or you're not being understood. All these are affected, or you feel that people don't appreciate you or who you are. Like, for example, I believe that I'm this type of person, but my people don't look at me the way I look at myself. So all that can be a source of pressure and stress. There's also cultural differences, lack of exposure, conservativeness, social barriers like obstacles that may be as a result of social differences, religion. You feel that you're not a fan of somebody, then you're not supposed to be supporting that person. So it could be stressful when you're religiously biased. So let's look at how to mitigate or control the stress. How do we manage stress? There are a number of proposals that have been put out there to help us in managing or controlling stress. One, you need to be informed on what exactly is stressing you. What are the causes of this stress? How does this stress affect you? How does it show, like manifest in you? You need to understand yourself, be well informed, find out the best way possible to counter the stress. You also need to plan ahead. If you're having a lot of activities, make sure you plan ahead and prioritize your work. Make sure everything is well planned and priorities given to more stressful items that you feel could lead to stress, so that they are sorted out before it's too late and before they become stressful. Try to always relax yourself. Do one thing at a time. We cannot do or make everybody happy in life. But if you try and focus on one item at a time, then chances are high that you're going to manage, become victorious in the different activities that you're doing. Relax yourself. Find time to get out of the day-to-day pressures of life. You can go for vacation. Take some time off for leave. Get enough sleep. If your stress is caused by lack of sleep, it's also advisable that you get a therapy, and the sleep is the best therapy that will help you get this stress off. Learn to be patient. Sometimes we are not so patient because we want things to be done there and there, and when we cannot realize this, then we end up being stressed. So let's learn to be more focused, more patient, be realistic with the goals that you set to yourself. Make sure that the goals that you're setting are measurable, are achievable, and are specific. They should be realistic, specific, achievable, and measurable. When we have that in the back of our mind, then we are going to have goals that are realizable. Avoid over drinking or smoking. If you're using substance like alcohol, liquor, or you're using cigar for smoking, any type of cigar, then avoid overuse of this. Avoid work overload. Don't overload yourself with work. Try to focus yourself on skills which you feel you're still inadequate, so that you can be a better person. Avoid threats. Anything that could be a threat to you, try to walk away from that. Sometimes walking away doesn't mean you're weak, but walking away means you're stronger, you're the bigger person. Avoid threats. Avoid places of danger. If your boss is about to start yelling at you, it's always better to say that, hey, let's have another day for this discussion. Try to always find a way to walk out of trouble before it's late. Also, try to give feedback on performance as soon as possible. If you're a supervisor and somebody is performing better, then you need to provide that feedback as soon as possible. This will avoid stress by the other parties. Make sure that the person receiving the feedback is not stressed, and the person giving the feedback is also not under pressure or duress. Communicate clearly. Communication is very important in everything or in every aspect of life. Make sure that when we are communicating at office, communicating at home, it must be clear, it must be very specific. I'm not talking about language here, but I'm talking about very clear communication. Make sure it's understandable, make sure it's very specific and people can understand you, and this is very important. Then also you may want to seek counseling service if you feel you're stressed, you want to seek the professional counselors. Talk to somebody who can talk to you professionally and help you with the management of stress. Otherwise, I want to say thank you. That was my time, and again, hope to see you in my next video. We'll be discussing another topical issue, and I want to welcome you to stay tuned to this channel. Thank you so much.